Mike Tapp, the government's announcing a returns deal with Vietnam. What is it?
Yeah, this is really good news coming out this evening around essentially making it easier to return individuals that arrive here illegally or overstayers to go back to Vietnam, and it helps us deport more. Now, we've already deported 35,000, that's growing, including an increase of 14% on foreign national offenders. That's the direction this government's going, and the more these returns agreements, the better.
Well, I want to talk to you about the scale of that, but what sort of numbers do you think this might deliver? I mean, how many overstayers or illegal do we think are from Vietnam?
There are a significant number. I can't give you the exact figure that come over from Vietnam, but it goes up and down. So sometimes we'll see that spiking, and then it depends where the gangs are at with their operations. At the moment, it's important that we're ensuring we can return as many people as possible, and this deal will help with that.
All right. Well, look, there is one particular returnee who's occupied a lot of public attention in the last few days. Mr. Kebatu has now gone back to Ethiopia. Was it right, in effect, to bribe him with public money?
So it's really tough, and I understand why the public, on the face of it, don't like this, because neither do I, to be quite frank with you, Trevor. But let's just explain what's gone on here. So we needed to deport this man. It was a top priority to ensure that he is no longer a risk to the British public, and that was the priority. Now, the officers on the ground dealing with these deportations and removals have complete operational independence from us ministers sat in the Home Office, and they assessed that 500 quid will ensure that he's peaceful on the flight, so that they don't have to drag him off, put him in detention, and then charter a new flight, which will cost the taxpayers £8,000. So it's a trade-off between £500 and £8,000. It's difficult to stomach, but he's gone and he can't pose a risk to the British public.
Yeah, but, you know, there is an issue here, isn't there? This sets a precedent. If you're an illegal immigrant, Britain wants to get rid of you, OK, you're going to go, but you threaten to make a fuss and they'll stuff your pocket with a few hundred quid.
Well, actually, successive governments have used this method for voluntary returns.
I know, there's a separate
and
programme.
the reason for that...
There is a separate programme which is called facilitated removals. Yeah. But this is different. This was purely... it was a bung. And is that right? There's something... I mean, there's something wrong about this. And frankly, once it gets around, that's what you're going to do. You're going to end up giving 500 quid bungs to hundreds of people, maybe thousands, if you get your returns policy right.
It's not different in the fact that successive governments have used money to ensure that the deportations and removals are quicker and less of a cost to the British taxpayers, because they don't have to accommodate them and fight those legal battles. Now, I'm infuriated, as is the Home Secretary, by the number of migrants who are abusing the legal system with, for example, claiming suddenly that they're a victim of slavery just before they're deported. So we're looking at that to reform that, and we're looking at the ECHR so we can continue to deport more.
Yeah, I mean, the Prime Minister says he's appalled, the Justice Secretary says he's livid, you're furious and all that. Everybody's got emotions.
We're acting on it.
But you do realise that the public emotions have moved from incredulity that what happened last week could happen, including, by the way, the bloke we sent back to France, who then bounced back here. And the public reactions moved from incredulity to anger, and now, frankly, to mockery, which is a place from which governments do not recover. You do understand that people are laughing at the government.
Trevor, I'm a member of the public too. I've only been in politics for a year. I come from a background of serving the country with the military, the National Crime Agency, and that's what I'm continuing. So I'm just as livid, as is the Home Secretary, but we're acting on it. And that's why we're seeing these changes.
They just think it's now ridiculous that you guys keep saying we're furious, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but actually it's a shambles.
When you inherit a system that's so broken, it takes time to fix it. And we've already seen, for example, processing of migrants increase by 50% because that had ground to a halt. That means there's more deportations, including of foreign national offenders. And we're looking to move people out of hotels. 400 hotels were open when we came to government. That's down to 200, and we're moving them to military sites.
Some of them are closed under the Tories.
So there is a lot of work to do, and we're getting on with it. And the Home Secretary has been really clear that we'll do what it takes to secure the borders and ensure the system works.
Right. Let's talk about the announcement you're making today that you've had 11,000 raids in the period between October 24 and September 25 on car washes, nail bars, all that. It's led to 8,000 arrests. How many of those 8,000 have been deported?
Well, firstly, it's really important that we don't allow the British workers to be undercut by dodgy employers, and that's why we've increased these raids by 63%. That's the most we've ever seen in British history. That's how seriously we're taking this. Of that 8,000, we've deported 1,000, and then 7,000 are currently under conditions, depending on the case. So it might be that they're reporting, it might be they're in detention, awaiting removal.
So you've got 11,000 raids, you get 8,000 people, so that means 3,000 raids haven't got a result. And actually, of the 8,000 you've arrested, only 1,000 have been deported. It's not much of a hit
Well, no,
rate,
because we've been in government for, what, 15 months, so it takes time to
But it doesn't matter how long you've been in.
What we're seeing...
You're sending home 1 in 8 that you've been arrested.
And all the others are awaiting removal and on conditions, strict conditions, with the Home Office, some in detention. So the important thing here is that we're moving in the direction of taking on dodgy employers, taking out those who are working in that market, but we're also closing loopholes, Trevor. So we see a lot of these delivery drivers knocking around. A lot of those are illegal. Okay. So we're closing that loophole so that those employers have to conduct right-to-work checks. So we're doing a lot of work here.
OK, so besides making it to take longer for me to get my burger, I can understand the point. But let me just ask you about the wider implications of this. Let me ask you this way. Do you know how many illegal immigrants there are in this country?
Well, it's hard to quantify because there was a period under the Conservatives where the boats weren't all being intercepted, and there's also other covert routes that people come in. But our priority is getting a grip of that and also dealing with those staying.
2,000? Is it 20,000? Is it 200,000? Is it 2 million? What is the order?
No, I'm not going to try and guess a figure, Trevor, but what I will make really clear is the policies that we're putting in place will help secure the border and also ensure that those who are overstaying don't do that, because 40% of those who are here illegally were here on legal visas of some sort. Okay, so we're bringing that down with policies to come out.
Well, let me put this way to you. You won't tell me the number, and I suspect that's because you and the Home Office don't know. In the United States, they can tell you the number. They can tell you it's 13.7 million. Germany, they can tell you it's 263,000. France, they can tell you it's 118,000. The Pew Research Centre, which is the best estimate of all of this, said this year, March, that they think the number's about 800,000. You've told me already that you deported 1,000. That means...
No, we've deported over 35,000 since coming to government, and that's going to increase.
But the point I want to make is the chances of being deported are actually quite slim. Even if I took your numbers, quick arithmetic in my head, 1 in 25 chance of being deported if you find me. I mean, honestly, it's not very impressive. The likelihood of your being able to get these people out of the country at the rate you're going and using the methods you're using is really quite tiny.
No, I completely disagree. This is about ensuring that, firstly, the rules are abided by. So when people are entering illegally, we are ensuring that if they can't get the asylum claim, they are deported. And those deportations have increased significantly. That's the route that we're going down, and we'll continue doing that.
One last question. Budget on November the 26th. Mm-hmm. We're hearing, everybody knows there's going to be a tax rise. We're hearing that the Chancellor's still saying there won't be tax rises on working person. Now, what is a working person now?
A working person for me is someone who's receiving a salary, paying tax, paying national insurance.
Elon Musk is a working person. He gets a salary, pays tax, but his salary is $1 trillion. What is a working person? in your terms?
Well, Elon Musk is a multi-billionaire in the United States. A working person is probably most of the viewers who get their wage slip every month.
You're a working person.
They pay their tax.
You're a working
pay their
person.
national insurance.
You're paid the north of 80,000. What is a working person for the Chancellor?
A working person is someone who pays their tax, their national insurance, and look, there's different definitions, and I haven't spoken to Rachel about this, I'm talking from my view, and it's people that aren't able to save, 1,000, 2,000 a month like many extremely lucky people are. So, the people that I speak to in my constituency who are getting to the end of the month and they've hardly got a penny to rub together, they're the people that we need to fight for to ensure that they're getting the services that they deserve. It's about creating a state that stands up for working people and delivers services, not what the Conservatives want, which is austerity, cuts and division. It's about bringing the country together.
So there's not really going to be any tax rises
people.
for anybody, because you're not giving me a threshold.
There's no chance, Trevor, that I'm going to sit here tonight and try and preempt what Rachel Reeves will do at the next budget.
More than my job's worth. Mike Tapp, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.